Falling in love with our videos is just a click away. Welcome to the Lover List, your daily dose of love, dating, and relationship stories from the Reddit community. Don't be left heartbroken. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. How do I, female 28, tell my husband, male 33, that I want a divorce? I'm miserable. So miserable. We used to be really happy and like each other. Since our daughter was born, everything has changed. She's almost a year old, and he's yet to do anything to help with her. He sleeps in a different room to me, and the baby, she's still in my room, so he's never done a night feed, or rocked her back to sleep, or anything like that. He doesn't sort her meals, her bottles, he doesn't do laundry or clean the house. He sits on his ass constantly and just plays on his phone. No matter how much I say I need help with everyday things, he always says he'll change but doesn't. We argue every single day. He's self-employed, works constantly and still brings home hardly anything. What he does earn, he takes for petrol in the car, vaping, and tattoos. This has been ongoing for years. He has a job for a bit then gets fired and doesn't do anything for a while until he goes to the next thing. For 6 years I've single-handedly been financially responsible for every single thing. All the bills, the rent, etc. is all down to me. We're in a lot of debt, and I pay my own as well as his too. And obviously now we have a child, I'm also doing all the parenting. I do 99% of her care, and he maybe gives her a bottle once every so often. His patience is awful, and his attitude is worse. He constantly believes I'm cheating. If I'm on my phone, he wants to know exactly who I'm texting and what we're talking about. It isn't because he's interested, it's because he thinks it's someone else. I want to divorce and be free. I'm already doing everything alone, so it makes no difference. I feel like I'm trapped though. He has nowhere else to go if I ask him to move out. He can't afford to get a place of his own. The house we live in is owned by my father, and every bill etc. is in my name, so I'm not leaving. Doesn't matter what we say, he thinks we're happy. He can't take the hint I'm miserable and wish he'd go away. Despite it all, I want him to be okay moving forward, and I'm worried about hurting his feelings saying I'm done. I'm worried about custody, and his family, who don't like me anyway, and the impact of that too. I'm worried the opinions of everyone else with this. And I don't even know how to say I'm done. I've been trying for 6 months to tell him, but he says he'll change and things will be different. I don't know how to do it, but I know I need to. I'm sorry this is a lot of rambling. Just feel like I'm at breaking point with life in general. Mental health isn't great, and I need to escape. I don't want to keep trying to make this work when I don't feel anything towards him but resentment. Edit. In response to the constant "why did you have a kid with him" comments, because I'm obviously an idiot and I've ruined her life already by dragging her through this. I don't need the reminders that I'm a shit mother, I'm already aware. I'm trying my best for her and she's always first. I'd have started this process months ago, but I'm afraid of him, alright? I've filed for a divorce. Hand papers. Or have your lawyer do it themselves. You've described someone who is only dragging you down. The longer you wait to dump this loser, the longer you'll hurt. From someone who can appreciate from personal experience a lot of what you say above. You've tried to communicate your needs. He's had his chances. You say he's been like this for years. If he hasn't changed by now, he isn't going to. Not in this relationship, anyway. This relationship is not a partnership. You are roommates, and you are taking care of everything. You're a single parent in a marriage with 2 parents. You deserve better. Of course he doesn't think there's an issue. He has it easy. You take care of everything, and he likes it that way. The above point said, I honestly doubt he is actually happy. He's probably just comfortable enough to keep going. Don't worry or be guilt-tripped about where he would go if you divorced, how he would feel, etc. That's a false flag that keeps you in a situation that isn't healthy for reasons that are selfish for the other person. Don't worry about what others will think if you get divorced. They don't have to live in the marriage that makes you miserable. They don't have a dog in this fight, period. Where do you go from here? My advice would be to quietly talk to an attorney. Get your ducks in a row. Plan out with your attorney what the next 6 to 18 months may look like. Let a trusted friend or family member who can keep quiet know what's going on, so you have someone you can call if you need help ASAP. Make sure you and baby are/stay safe. Do not stay together for the baby. Your relationship is not healthy, which means it is not good for your child either. As a person who was stuck as a child in a household with parents who should have split long before they did, please don't use the child as an excuse not to leave. Best wishes to you, OP. Do not stay together for the baby. Your relationship is not healthy, which means it is not good for your child either. As a person who was stuck as a child in a household with parents who should have split long before they did, please don't use the child as an excuse not to leave. My father treated my mother, and us, like crap growing up. My mother later confessed to me that she didn't leave him because we needed a father. I suffered through a lot of crap, including relationships where I was not respected because that is what I was conditioned to do by experience and example. So, when in doubt, I suggest this meditation. Do I want my daughter to end up in relationships that mimic the one I am in now? She will if I stay with him. Sounds like me when my kids were little. Just bite the bullet and do it. Tell him exactly what you wrote here, and that you have fallen out of love with him. Ask him if you guys can be amicable during the divorce process or not. He's going to get angry and have lots of emotions, but those are his to work on, not yours. Focus on your baby and move on. I know I need to, but I'm so scared to. Annoyingly, I care too much about his feelings and him being sad, but purely because I don't want to deal with the drama of it. Honey, every day of your life is already drama. You're giving him peace at the cost of your own. First things first, tell your support people, or choose one person. Lean on them, tell them your plan, and ask them to help you follow through. He will manipulate, he will blame you, he will throw tantrums. This person needs to be your rock. Second, call a few lawyers and have a consultation. They can answer questions you have and give you advice on how to proceed. It's not your job to take care of your husband. Keep reminding yourself of that as you prepare for this next chapter. What happens to him does not concern you. His struggles are not your struggles. His problems are not yours to solve. A good therapist can support you through this. You and your child deserve a soft life full of love. You're already doing everything, now you just need to take the trash out. Be kind to yourself, honey. You're doing the right thing as hard as it feels. Your happiness matters. Your dreams matter. His family won't like you for dumping him, but they already don't like you. That's a non-issue. You're scared of where he'll go. Well, to said family, let them have him. It looks to me that you should have left even before you had a baby, but as you can't go back in time, may as well leave now. Talk to a lawyer, start the proceedings, and let him know he has a week to get out. Don't allow him to make you feel sorry for himself. He is 33, he has been an adult for a while, and it's his own decisions that put him where he is. Honestly, there is no need to feel guilt at this stage. How guilty do you think he feels for having you do everything for him? Yeah, not at all. I went through this with my ex-wife and got to the point where I was just sick of being miserable because that's not who I normally would be. I kept putting it off and telling myself things would change, and they never did. Basically, what you need to do is tell him, look, this is what it is, and it's not going to change. We need to come up with a solution as to what our exit plan looks like. I don't totally hate you and I'm willing to work with you on things, but this is happening and I want to be perfectly clear on that. If you're willing to work with me, I'll be reasonable. If you're going to fight me on this, then I'm not going to go out of my way to make this as easy on you. Basically, you need to let him know he's got an option between the easy way and the hard way of dealing with this, but in the end, he's going to have to deal with this because you aren't going to allow yourself to be miserable because of him anymore. This is great. Thank you so much. Definitely think giving him an option will work well with him. Be sure to be clear on the we're past fixing this, and say, yeah, I know you're going to need a minute to digest this, but this is happening. The time for you to change has passed, and this is what I need. I also divorced someone who was just paying lip service to anything I said, then continued to do nothing to help, and thought since he was happy, we were happy. Tips based on my divorce, which went really smoothly, like, we didn't even go to court or mediation. Agreed on a plan, signed it, and that was it. Attempt to keep discourse civil, no yelling, no name calling, no cheap shots, no talking trash to other people. No matter how you feel about someone, the easiest and fastest path to separating from them is to communicate reasonably. You don't need to justify your decision. All I told my ex when I left was, "I'm done, I can't do it anymore." And I repeated it over and over. Occasionally, I might tell him, "Listen, I told you what I needed for years. I don't need anything from you anymore, so there's no reason for me to go over those things again. I'm not mad. I don't want to argue. I am just done being with you." Giving them specific reasons gives them an avenue to argue, nitpick, and try to logic their way around your feelings. Be practical. Just because you know he doesn't deserve anything from you doesn't mean you should spend more money than they're asking for. My ex asked for what would amount to more money in spousal support than he was entitled to, per the urging of his mother, I'm sure. I countered with the state guidelines about how long he could expect a judge to rule I would support him based on our short marriage and him not having maintained the household or watched children in his chronic unemployment. I offered $4,000, which was the cost of 10 more months of the insurance had carried for him during our 14 months of separation. He accepted, and while I likely could have gotten out of it altogether, that would have cost me at least $4,000 in lawyer fees, so it was better to save the headache. Be fair with the money, and look like you have compassion for his needs even in the divorce. Yes, he's a leech and a scumbag, but your husband is going to have certain legal rights, and when you early on show a willingness to try to be fair about things and adhere to state norms, it's less likely to go to trial, and once it does, the judge is going to see you as the reasonable partner. Even if someone's not working, they're going to be entitled to some of the money in the bank accounts, and they're going to need it to move out of your life in any kind of normal way. When I left, we had very little in the account, so I took half and left him half. I helped with a couple of medical expenses the first 2 to 3 months, and then I sent him half the tax refund for that year. Would he have gotten that much in court? Probably not. He's really good at pissing people off. Did it save me stress and animosity in the long run? Yes. In your case, if you're handling the bills and raising the child, you're entitled to way more than half. Getting out of the same living space as quickly as possible is what's best for both of your mental health. Have your father prepare a 30-day notice the same day you talk to him. Tell him that if he moves out on his own before then, you'll split the cost of the U-Haul, or pay it, or whatever you think you want to do. Tell him if he makes your father evict him, then you're going to be hands-off and your father will proceed without any assistance or leeway through legal channels, leaving an eviction on his record, which will make it much harder to find his next apartment. You and your kids' safety is top priority. If you think he could be dangerous or volatile, don't be alone with him anymore, and put your phone on record in your pocket anytime you interact. If he becomes a threat, the support will keep you safe at that moment, and the evidence will let you get protective orders to keep yourself safe long-term. Don't give mixed signals, and I don't specifically mean sexual. When you're with someone for a long time, it's habit to want to stop them from being upset, or calm them down, and you might find yourself agreeing to being friends, to going to dinner, to saying "I don't know what the future holds" instead of never getting back with you ever in life. If things go badly for them, remind yourself it's not your fault. That man has been an adult for 15 years. He should have figured his shit out enough to hold a job and rent a room. And if he hasn't, that's a result of his choices. Another episode of relationship stories that are truly worth telling, and you got to be a part of it. If you enjoyed hearing these tales, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications too so you never miss an episode filled with tales that'll warm your heart.